coming. You got it? Luca's on.
Got the sound on it yet?
No. You haven't got it.
What?
Okay, good morning, everyone. Sorry, I'm having just a few technical problems this morning. My computer is playing up a bit, but let's get started. Let's start anyway. Okay, lots of news as usual to talk about today. And obviously, if you're following the crypto markets, you would have noticed that things have gone up, and sometimes they go up, sometimes they go down. But one thing that I wanted to make sure we all understand is that I need somebody to be a co-host. So, Jaya, do you mind if I make you co-host?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah?
Sure, Lucas.
So at least I can concentrate on what I need to concentrate on. Okay. Okay, let me share something with you. Okay, which is, where are we? Okay. Okay, so if we go on to, this is the CoinGecko, as you can see. Let me just refresh it so we get the latest up-to-date news and prices. Now you can see now we are pretty much on a green week. So lots of obviously the price of Bitcoin has now gone up back above 40,000. Now it's touching 44,000 mark, and you can see most of the projects have gone up. Okay, by quite a lot as well, and obviously Cardano stands out as 35% up on the week, above all other major projects. Now, one thing I wanted you to understand is that, has anything changed in these past 7 days? Has any of these projects become substantially different from what they were last week? And this is it's important to understand, because there will be a lot more people buying cryptos and buying maybe Cardano at this price after it's gone up 35-40% than they were last week or the week before, when it was maybe at 80 cents instead of 113, 114. Now, and this is where it is important that you don't let prices distract you, because whatever is happening right now is because of what had been down in these projects, not last week, but it's kind of like 6 months ago, a year ago, 2 years ago. And the things, price takes time to, innovations take time to reflect in price, simply because, people are not aware of what's going on. It's still a very technical market. And kind of prices are moved by, are much, people are aware of certain things. Okay, so what I'm trying to do here, and why you come in every week to this crypto hours, is because we're trying to front run, what is going to happen in the markets later, because we're looking at what happens in these projects, because the developers are working on these projects every day. I mean, this is, projects like Cardano, Ethereum, Polkadot, they're projects that have been around for many years. It's not just they come into the market now because it's kind of something new that people have never heard before. It is kind of like the result of years of work and of years of development. Okay, so and also another thing I wanted to make you understand, I mean, especially if you are investing in this market, it's you don't need, I mean, look at some of these increases. Okay, you don't need to look for the the needle in a haystack, for the project which is number, I don't know, 8,500, and you buy some of it because you think is going to go to the moon. Now, you can get very good returns simply with the main projects, simply invested in projects like Cardano, Ethereum, Bitcoin, XRP, Terra, Solana, Polkadot. Look at this kind of returns. I mean, if you just pay attention on the development that's going on and have a view on what this technology is going to do in the future, and what is this, what space is it going to represent in the world economy, then everything becomes a lot easier. And you don't need to go on to kind of tips from experts or from your mate or that you've found on YouTube or Facebook. You can just do it yourself and just go on what are the best projects, and then just support them. So you don't need to take extra risks, especially if you're not, if you don't have the tools to understand the more risky projects yourself. Just keep it simple, and this is the best advice I can give you. Just really keep it simple. Now let's have a look at some of the things that have gone on this week, and probably what maybe, I mean, to be honest with you, what is being reported in the media, in the news, is that the price of Bitcoin has gone up because there is a rumor that Russia is going to accept, Bitcoin in payment for oil. Okay, because they having kind of like they are going through an embargo, and it's difficult for them to trade their oil and natural gas for dollars. And there is a rumor that they're going to accept Bitcoin as payments. That would be huge news. But I don't know if that is the reality of really what's going on or not. I like looking at facts more than rumors. And if we look at, this is the stock market. So this is the S&P 500, and I have kind of shrunk it to show just the activity in 2022. Okay, so this is where we started, about 4,800, and this is where we are now, 4,500. Okay, so we are looking at roughly, this is the start, roughly. Oops. Sorry, let me just go back. What have I done? Excuse me. Okay, let me just go back to the 2022. Okay, so this is again, we are 2022. And we are looking roughly at a 6%, roughly a 6% drop since the start of 2022. So I just wanted to show you, though, obviously the past few days, from the 14th to today, have been good for the stock market in general. So we cannot look at just crypto in isolation. It's now a recognized asset class. So we need to see how it goes in comparison to other markets. Like this is the stock, the most famous stock market. So the Standard & Poor's 500. So it's the American stock market. And let's now compare it to how crypto has done. Okay, so if we go Bitcoin USDT chart, this is kind of like really good to see, to understand the extra volatility that there is in an asset like Bitcoin, which is already one of the most stable of the crypto assets. But if you see, pretty much, there's a very similar result from the start of the year in a Bitcoin than there is in the stock market, probably done like 1% worse. But look at how it moved. So although now we are pretty much in the same place, look at how much it moves. So when the stock market goes down, Bitcoin goes down a lot, with a lot more violent move. Okay, and when instead things start going well, then obviously Bitcoin starts gaining a lot faster than usual. Sorry, let me just see. Duncan is appeared. Make co-host as well. Okay. Okay, so I was saying when things go well in the stock market, then Bitcoin starts going a lot faster, and when things go down, Bitcoin goes down a lot faster. Now, if we put on top of that, we also put the altcoins, so anything else that's not Bitcoin. This is an index that we have on FTX. Let me get the details on that. So And this is, as we've seen, if the stock, Standard & Poor's has gone down 6%, Bitcoin 7%, and altcoin about 16%. But then again, the altcoins have a sharper move that even Bitcoin does. Okay, so we'll see now that here there was a lot bigger 19 to 32, so 13% gap, and now the gap is about 9%. Okay, so now the altcoins are started rising faster than Bitcoin, and obviously faster than the stock market. So this is, just be very aware of this, because you should kind of like try to understand this chart and pair it with your attitude to risk. So if you have a low attitude to risk, then by all means, for you the stock market will be risky enough. Okay, if you are a little bit more adventurous, then you might venture into obviously Bitcoin, and if you are very adventurous, then you might go on to altcoins. Now, before you access any of these markets, you need to be aware of what can happen potentially. Okay, so where you have a drop of 13% in the stock market and you have a drop of 35% in altcoins. Okay, so be very aware of what can happen before you get engaged, before you start engaging with any of these separate markets. Now, let's start seeing some of the interesting news. And I want to start from this, which is, there went news last week that Malaysia, I mean, there was a proposal to make Bitcoin legal tender in Malaysia, and that would have been really big news, because it's kind of like it's a much larger economies there obviously there, El Salvador, and there were rumors that Honduras were going to adopt Bitcoin legal tender. Now, the Deputy Finance Minister, Shahar Abdullah, turned down this proposal, calling cryptocurrency unfit for payments. But at the same thing, they have announced that they are currently studying a central bank digital currency project with the Bank for International Settlements. Now, together with Singapore, Australia, and South Africa. Now, just try to understand one thing. If they think that cryptocurrency is so bad that cannot be accepted as legal tender, why are they creating their own? So what's the difference between this is what I kind of look at. You need to read in between the lines here in the news. Kind of like, what's the difference between Bitcoin, for example, and their own central bank digital currency project? The only difference is that they can control this one, they can control this one. Okay, so it's not that they don't like cryptocurrency like Bitcoin because it's unfit for payments. What they're saying is this: we can control this thing, so we don't want to start using something that we got no control over. All right, so this is the real news that I'm interested in, not so much that they accept or don't accept Bitcoin as legal tender. Okay. Now, let me see which ones to concentrate on. Now, again, talking about acceptance on a worldwide basis. I mean, Florida now started to accept Bitcoin for tax payments. Like there was, the first state was Colorado a couple of months ago, and now Florida starting that as well. It's starting kind of like one bit after another. There were like all the Lego blocks that are being put in place. That these kind of like acceptance from authorities that cryptocurrency are here to stay is becoming more and more widespread. All right, let me go. Now, obviously, cryptocurrency must be becoming a big thing if David Beckham is getting involved in it. Okay, and Oh, actually, I've been told by Duncan that I am on a different Zoom link. Okay, I was probably that's why we have had trouble getting people on. I will double check that for next week. But let's carry on. So what I'm saying now, more and more celebrities and everybody is jumping on the bandwagon, and David Beckham as well. Not that I'm particularly interested in that. It's in the news obviously every week for one thing or another, and it's now represented being a brand ambassador for this digital bits blockchain that nobody has heard of before. Anyway, moving on. This is what I was talking about before, and that's why it is rumored that Bitcoin prices have moved so fast. Is that first of all, Russia, there are rumors they are allowing gas payments for Bitcoin, but even bigger than that, Exxon, one of the largest US oil and gas firm, is using excess natural gas to mine Bitcoin. So when you start, and this is some of the biggest companies, some biggest multinationals in the world, starting adopting and using this technology for their bottom line, because they don't do it for charity. They don't do it because Bitcoin is going to be good for the world. They're just doing it because it makes them money. So if they can start this, then we need to really take notice, because it's not something that just me and you are talking about here. That could or could not happen in the future, but this is here already, and nation states, sovereign funds, big multinational, they're all getting involved. Okay, and they're all jumping on the bandwagon. So do take notice. Okay, let me just a couple of things here. Just removing all the things. Another thing interesting for those of you that want to make some cryptos for free. So crypto for free is Binance have launched a learn and earn system similar to the one that's already on Coinbase. So obviously it won't make you rich, but if you're interested, you can learn a thing or two about different projects and get a few free coins. Okay, so I mean I have done my things on Coinbase. I probably have about $70-80 worth of coins I've accumulated through watching 1 minute videos here and there. And if you have got a little bit of time and want some free coins, why not? Okay, you just need a Binance account. It's free, so go on and try. Another thing that's interesting, and this I will like you, I'll drop this in the chat box if you want to listen to, is talking about Brave. And Brave is the browser that I am using right now that I'm showing you this on. And it is really marketed as the browser for crypto native internet users. Okay, so do listen to it. This is an interview with the founder and one of the developers, the lead developer for Brave software. Okay, so understand what they can do. They recently launched a Brave wallet, which is integrated into the browser. So that it adds increasing security for a non-custodial wallet, like similar to MetaMask and other Coinbase wallet and similar non-custodial wallets, but it's completely integrated into their browser. So it's not an add-on, but it's on the browser themselves. So go and have a look have a look at it and see what you think. On on a different aspect, and saying the Bitcoin miner revenue has grown this month, and obviously with the increasing as well of the value of Bitcoin. But now Bitcoin mining, it's a big business. Okay, so there's huge companies they are investing in Bitcoin mining, and and especially the new frontier now, especially where a lot of sovereign funds are wanting to get involved, is Bitcoin mining, which is powered by clean sources of electricity. Okay, because obviously there has been a lot of of discussion about Bitcoin and the energy it uses. So especially if it comes from dirty source of energy like oil or coal or anything like that. So so there's many projects now, they are investing in clean sources of energy, because now Bitcoin miners are very much integrated now. So you cannot run a Bitcoin mining operation unless you have an agreement or you run your own power generation system. Okay, or you have an agreement with an energy company, so you can get electricity at a reduced cost, because that's your the cost of electricity is the major cost for mining Bitcoin, together with the cost of the hardware and buying the computers to do that. So keep it in mind. And by the way, it's one thing that you can do straight away if you want. You can, because these companies are all quoted on the NASDAQ. So you could even today go and buy shares in one of these companies directly on the stock market. So if you got a brokerage account with whatever it can be, you can go out and buy these things right now without getting, if you don't want to get involved in crypto directly, it's an indirect way of doing that. And also you can do it from your pension account and so on, because it's a regulated investment. Okay, let me just close the things that we talked about already. Okay. Now, this is something that is quite important, because it's a kind of Vitalik Buterin, which is the founder of Ethereum, at least is one of the founders of Ethereum, but now is the one that stayed where many others now left and created other projects. Like, for example, Charles Hoskinson created Cardano, Gavin Wood created Polkadot. Somebody else that created, I can't remember the name, but created a MetaMask. So they're all kind of like clever people, the ones that got together to come out with Ethereum, and they're all involved in big projects. He was talking about the rage around the NFTs, and he's talking about the peril is you have these 3 million monkeys talking about the Bored Ape NFTs, and it becomes a different kind of gambling. There definitely are lots of people that are just buying yachts and Lamborghinis. Okay, now this is what I wanted to talk to, to concentrate on. So ultimately, the goal of crypto is not to play games with million-dollar pictures of monkeys, is to do things that accomplish meaningful effects in the real world. If we don't exercise our voice, the only things that get built are the things that are immediately profitable. And those are often far from what's actually the best for the world. Okay, so this is important. And I think, and this is what I am trying to concentrate on when I am studying and spending my attention, because time is limited for all of us. And what we can concentrate on is only one thing at a time. So I tend to concentrate on what projects are trying to do for the future, and not just whatever is the flavor of the month that is booming in price for one reason or another. I'm trying to concentrate on projects that are doing something that is going to be of use in 2, 3, 4, 5 years time. Okay, and obviously as I'm talking about this, I concentrate a lot on Cardano. Okay, and why is this? Why do I often talk about Cardano? Not because I am a Cardano maximalist, because I am not. I like it very much, but simply because of what they're doing, not because of my emotions connected to it. And this is one of the metrics I look at, very regularly every week. This is on-chain activity. Okay, so this is data. Is not my opinion. Okay, and when we look at here, we look at this adjusted transaction volume. Now, why is this important rather than the transaction volume here in this column? Is because in cryptos, often there are the ways that some of these projects work is that they send, let's say if you got one Bitcoin and you want to buy a cup of coffee, okay, you still have to spend one Bitcoin, whole Bitcoin, and then a fraction goes to buy the cup of coffee, and the rest gets paid back to you. Okay, so from the point of view of the transaction volume, that gets recorded like transaction of one Bitcoin instead of the transaction for like $1, $2, whatever you pay for the coffee. Okay, so all these need to be taken out, and then the remainder, the real transaction, form the adjusted transaction volume. Now, if we look at here, you know, Cardano are 32.9 billion daily. It's more than Bitcoin and Ethereum put together. It's not only that, but I think if you sum up the first 10 projects, Cardano will be higher than all 10 put together. Okay, so these are facts. And then the other thing that we might talk about that you can listen to on YouTube, you know, sometimes are opinions. Okay, not you know, doesn't mean that they're not good, but just, you know, you look at the facts first, and then you can make your own mind on what things are doing. And these are some of the things that are going on Cardano. Okay, so these are the projects that are on Cardano. It's so big now that I can't fit them all on one page. So this is Cardano Cube, which is a website that lists all the projects that are on Cardano. Now there's so many that divided into categories now. So these are all categories of projects on Cardano. Okay, so you can go there and just explore and see what there is, whatever your interest is, whether it's, you know, lending and borrowing, oracles, MSPs, and you can see all the projects that are in that community. For example, I don't know, look at DeFi here. Okay, and these are all the DeFi projects within Cardano. Okay, some of them are already launched, some of them haven't launched yet, but you know, they're all either Cardano projects or projects that interact with Cardano, like for example Nexo here. Okay, and if you want to go and have a look at the whole ecosystem, you can click on ecosystem, and and this is kind of like you know, a view in one screen of all the projects down Cardano, but they, you know, quite a few. Okay, so each one, just if you think about it, each one of these projects will have its own social media, its own Discord channel. So if you can imagine the kind of information that is out there, it's unbelievable. And this is just one project. This is just Cardano. Okay, just imagine, multiply that by 50, by 100. You know, Polkadot, Solana, and Avalanche, and Cosmos, and so you can imagine how many projects are there to look at. So, you know, what I tend to do to make my life easier, I tend to concentrate on the projects that I know where there's a lot of activity that I like. I think especially for kind of projects that are future-proofing. So they are ready for the next level of development that is not there yet, but they already prepared the network for it. And then I concentrate on those communities to look for interesting projects. Obviously, Cardano is definitely one of those that I look at as is, for example, you know, Polkadot community, Cosmos. There are many different things. You know, you can have a look at any you like, okay, whatever takes your fancy, but this is something that's close to my heart. Another one that's interesting that hasn't been in the news a lot is internet computer. For example, there has been just you know, you can go on Binance research. I don't know if you use it, but there are reports on different projects. They just updated their report on internet computer, and this is just some of the highlights. So just a cost of 46 cents per month of storing 1 gigabyte directly on chain. I mean, storing stuff on chain is pretty expensive. Okay, so this bringing it down to very manageable levels. And these are some of the other technical potential applications of internet computer. Okay, so this is just another one of the projects. Again, it's a layer 1 project that has other projects built on it, and it launched last year, probably at the wrong possible time, because the prices started, you know, dropping down incredibly. But it doesn't mean it's a bad project simply because it's gone down from $200 to $20 losing 90% of its value. That's the price. It doesn't mean that the activity is not good. Okay, so this is the thing you should look at, is what projects are doing. Don't look at what the price is doing. Okay, price will come, price will follow good work. Okay, at least for the long term. If you're in it because you want to make a quick buck, then go and play on the horses. To be honest with you, or do day trading if you want. But that's got nothing to do. That kind of activity has got nothing to do with the development activity on the blockchains. It's just price action, and it's a completely different thing. Let's say go and learn, a price action on trading, not necessarily in crypto. So okay, so you will be trading, not investing in crypto. Is a different thing. Okay, so let me see, where are we? We've done half an hour, so let's take a few questions. Today, because I think I've used a different link, so there aren't as many people as usual. So it's a more intimate community, so we can answer more questions. So anybody who wants to go first? No questions. Are you just coming for the entertainment? So I can start dancing if you want. Duncan, come on, you jump in. You ask a question.
I'll jump in, Luca. With regard to Ethereum 2.0, apparently, is that still happening end of the month, do you think?
No idea. It's been happening end of the month for the past 2 years. So your guess is as good as mine. I mean, apart jokes apart, they are now put the merge, which is the big update that needs to be done to basically merge the proof of stake with the proof of work, so that becomes then a proof of stake chain. It's now on the test net. So literally they are close to releasing. I mean, it was rumored to be happening in June. I don't know exactly when it's going to happen. But to be honest with you, there are other news in Ethereum that are more interesting than that, because although they are they're launching a proof of stake, that is not thought to have a huge influence on the price of transactions. So it's more interesting to see what's happening in the scaling solutions, especially with the rollups, zero knowledge rollups, Optimist rollups, and so on, Plasma and other things. So those are the innovation that will make Ethereum a low cost chain to operate on. Is not the proof of stake or proof of work. Okay, so this is wanting you to think about the real thing, because yes, it will make a small difference, and obviously it will use less energy, so it's a very good from the point of view of PR Ethereum, but we'll see what difference it really makes. It may, instead of having 15 transactions per second, it might be 50 or 60. But I don't know if that would be enough to ease the congestion on the main chain of Ethereum. What is likely going to happen, going ahead in the future, is that Ethereum will become a settlement layer, and all the activity will happen outside of Ethereum and then be reported on Ethereum. Okay, so it will happen on, Polygon or, ZK Snark and so on, ZK Sync. Or other layer 2 scaling solution, Arbitrum, and so on. So Ethereum will just be the place where things are recorded in the similar way that Polkadot was thought of that way to begin with. So all the activities in Polkadot is happening in the parachains, and then the Polkadot in the middle is just the relay chain, where all things are reported, the one that links all the different side chains together. So a similar thing is going to happen in Ethereum, and it seems to be pretty much an evolution that is going to happen in blockchain altogether, because Cardano is going the same way. Many projects are doing the same way, because computations are not best done on the blockchain, because the blockchain is expensive and it's slow. So it's much more efficient if you can do the computations somewhere else and then report the results on the blockchain. And there are now, some proofs, and the ZK rollups, this is what they are, proofs to tell you that the computations are being done properly and the results are right. Okay, so there's no need for you to have everything on the blockchain. You just have part of it, and then with the possibility of going to investigate further if you want to.
Also, what are the news sources that you watch?
Too many, Tim. Honestly, because you've got to be very careful with the crypto news. The one that's fairly reliable is Messari, okay, because it's been thought of and developed as an impartial news source from the beginning. Many of the other channels are very biased, and they have their own agenda. And what I'm saying is that the more you read, and the more you get your own idea on what things I really like. And after a while, you start realizing, you read an article and thinking, what the heck are they talking about? They are completely biased towards one way or another, and you'll be able to make your own mind. But you can start from cryptopanic.com, which is just a news reel like Bloomberg, where you get like 4 headlines that link to articles, but then it doesn't mean that the articles are any good. So you just is a way of reading what people are talking about, and then you go and make up your own minds on things. A lot of the things they are paying attention to is not really stuff that's in the news as such, because for me, once news are reported, is already a bit too late. So I am in listen to activities going on the community level. So in Discord, Telegram and Twitter and things like that, those are the places where you get to know things as they happen, more than the moment that somebody has picked something up and written an article on it is already a day or two late. Okay, so it's good to just scan the articles to just find out if there is something you missed, and if there is something that you want to concentrate on. But there's not one source of information that I rely on above all others. Okay, there isn't. You might find a YouTuber that you like. You might find a news company that you like, but they're not. None of them are 100% on YouTube. By the way, if you listen to YouTubers, you listen to all you like. I'm not saying some of them, there are some good ones, some less good ones, but just don't listen to recommendations, okay? Because it's being proven, it's even some of the bigger ones, and BitBoy was one of those, by the way. It's probably one of those that got the biggest following on the on YouTube, and he does recommendation for money, okay? So he recommends things because people are paying him to recommend them. It's not because he believes in projects. So be very careful in taking any tips from YouTube, because normally these people are getting paid. Okay. Now, all right. Let's move on. I know that there was a question from Elizabeth. What is your read on XRP and the ongoing issues? And to be honest with you, I don't understand what the big interest in XRP is, because there are so many projects out there. Why do you concentrate on something that has there's something going on in the background that you can control? Because until this court case is completely resolved one way or another, there's still going to be, it's still going to be like moving slowly, because they got this hanging on their neck. So don't have my project with XRP, my problems are that they went, for a financial system for transferring money, they were not transparent themselves. And then I got an issue with something that starts in that way. So from day one, I'm not interested in XRP. Whatever they do, whatever the price goes to 1 million per coin, fine, good for them. I'm just not interested, because I don't think that there are certain projects that are basically put together for profit rather than for the benefit of the community. And I think there are so many out there, and I prefer supporting with my funds projects that are doing good for everybody rather than for for a small number of people. The same way as I don't support massive projects that are supported by the Google and Amazon of this world, but I rather go on decentralized projects. So, for example, although they may be doing plenty of good work, I'm not interested in either a Hashgraph either, because for that exact reason. Okay, because if kind of like Google is behind it, I'm kind of not interested. So it's up to you. As I say, it's not. As I say, XRP you can make a lot of money with XRP, and I'm not saying that they're not good, because they keep building their business. They kept building their business away from the US anyway, and they got a very vibrant market in Asia. But I'm saying I'm not particularly interested in XRP.
Luca, thank you. It's just your take. I keep hearing about it. It's not really one of the coins that are on my radar much either, but people keep talking to me about XRP, so I was just wanting to run it through the filter review before I gave it any more attention.
Sure. Let me just show you one thing, okay? Where is the browser? This is what I mean from I'll go on the trading screen for Brian, and so we can see prices. So if we have a look at XRP, and go into daily chart. Okay, so this is the XRP chart. All right, now this is where they were on. Let's just say a little bit further. So we're looking from the beginning of 2021, and they've gone up maybe 15% since then. Let me maybe do a weekly chart so we can have a look at a bigger picture. Okay, so this is where we were in 2021. Okay, actually it was a bit. We were about 35 cents, so it's grown further than that. But I'll just say it's not something that's really done much in the past couple of years. Okay, now it could do extremely well, but we're still very, very far away from. This chart doesn't go far enough really to see the tops. But even the recent tops was like at $2. We're now at less than half than that. As I say, for me, there are. This is something that's moving sideways. Has been moving sideways for a long time. Now, yes, it can all of a sudden start going up, but for me, there are so many more exciting projects to invest in. I don't see the point of supporting something like this over something else. And when we look at the prices as well, XRP has already got a value of $40 billion. So then you have a look. You got to just have a look at how far do you think it can go? Can it go as big as Ethereum or bigger than Ethereum? Because to give you the same opportunity of growth that some of the other widely available coins are, you will need to have a huge growth in new space, because going from basically 400 billion to 200 plus. 200 plus is a big jump, and I'm not quite sure that there is that much upside potential in the short term. I'd rather look at other things. But that's my opinion.
Thank you, Luca. Much appreciated.
Yeah, no problem at all. Okay, there was, I think, something from Pierre as well. Let me just read it. Crypto became into certain cities, Miami, and then okay. I mean, yes, pretty much, Pierre. It depends from, there is somebody that leads the way, and the Miami mayor, for example, has been a proponent of cryptocurrency, and is pushed obviously cryptocurrency. They launched their own Miami coin and so on. So it does start from somewhere, and now cryptocurrency is being adopted widely in the Florida state, even to pay taxes and so on. In Wyoming is something they always had close cooperation with Cardano and with Charles Hoskinson. That not just, he also supports. It pays himself for some courses to run in the University of Wyoming, both for mathematics and for blockchain related courses. And as they now become one of the leaders in blockchain industry in the US, and they also they created a legal status for decentralized autonomous organizations, DAOs, which is a first as well in the US. So yeah, kind of like obviously interesting politicians, especially when there is a cooperation with projects and they can see the benefit. For example, Wyoming is becoming, I mean, it's a small state, but it has attracted a lot of students. For example, they want to learn about blockchain from all over the US. So they can see the benefits of this. And they're trying to make it easy to become a place that attracts other companies that they want to operate in the same sector. So they want to become crypto friendly because they can see that there is something for them, for their citizens, for their community. So and I think this is why it is important to have a place, you know, whether it's Wyoming or whether it is El Salvador, when somebody takes a bold action and they can see the results of that bold action, it's kind of like then a beacon that attracts other people because they can see that there is something good coming from it. And I think, well, we want some of that as well. And this is the reason why there is a lot of interest, for example, at the moment in South America, in Central America, because they can see that, you know, the little El Salvador was criticized by everybody. For the first time in their history, they're having double-digit GDP growth and never had before, never ever in their history. So obviously they must be doing something right. And other countries that got whose options are very, very limited because the currency is so weak that they can't do anything with it, and they need to use the US dollar. Well, they're now paying attention. You're thinking, well, if they've done it, why can't we do it as well? And if it gets, you know, if there is a benefit for them, could we benefit from it as well? And this is kind of, we will get through to a point, you know, we already got to a point where it is being discussed in bigger country like Malaysia, like Argentina, like Mexico. It is being actively discussed. It was not just dismissed out of hand like it was, you know, 1 year, 2 years ago. Now they are, you know, politicians are talking about it seriously. Whether they decide for or against it is a different matter, but they are taking it seriously. So this is why it's important to have, you know, somebody like, you know, the Miami mayor that not only takes an initiative, launches its own coin, but also showing how that can benefit the citizens because they have raised many millions of dollars through the Miami coin for the citizens. So it's not just a game or something they support with their opinion. It's actually they backed it with facts as well. And again, Wyoming has become a center for excellence in blockchain all of a sudden. You know, 10 years ago, you wouldn't have, if you got a student that's coming out of college, you wouldn't have thought that they would be willing to go and move to Wyoming to study. It wasn't one of the top choices. Now it is. So So yeah, that's my kind of like opinion on the matter. You do need some people that take a bold action to then attract numbers to certain activities. Okay. Anyway. DAOs, is there hope that in future this could disrupt government system, political systems and structures? Well, of course it is. Of course it is. In general, blockchain can, because I mean, I try to think about things not in a way that's compartmentalized. Okay, just look at it in kind of big trends. And one trend that's been going on for years and years and years has been globalization. Now, in a global economy, what is the space for national currencies, and do they make sense? I mean, see, look at what's happening in the European Union, for example. Now since the euro has come about, there is no need for all those different currencies for 20. I don't know exactly how many countries are now part of the euro, but for 10, 15 countries to have several countries, because they can use just one. Now, even if it, the movement is between having 4 or 5 big blocks, like the European Union, like the US, like China, and maybe kind of like South America as a block, at the same time, is there a reason for having all these different systems, or is there a point of having a system that can work for the new globalized economy? So should we have a global currency, for example? And what's the point of having all these different currencies where most of the trade now is not like it was 50 years ago, where most of the nation's trade happened within its borders. Now a big chunk of trade is happening cross-border. So we need to have systems that are fit for purpose. As simple as that. And many of the current systems, whether it's the banking, the Swiss system that was started more than 50 years ago, many of the institutional systems are kind of a centuries old. And are those the best way of doing things? It's because one of the things that's been proven by blockchain is that now there is a technology that would allow direct democracy. Whether it is something that we want or not, it is now possible. So we need to discuss it again, and it's something that hasn't been discussed, for decades. That now I can see, with not just because I'm talking about it myself, but I can see in kind of like my son's age. I mean, he's now a university, kind of like a young man. But even when he was at school, I mean, between them, they were talking about these things. It was just like unbelievable. I don't remember talking about these things when I was 17 or 18. And now I think they are ready. They are ready to saying, do we still need to do things as they always wanted us to do it, or is there a better way? And I think that discussion now has been started, and you can't stop it. So I'm not saying that blockchain is the solution for everything, but I'm just saying there is now a movement that wants to rediscuss the way the society works. And we can now have that conversation and then talk about what the best way it is to go about it. Now, there is talks about going to Mars and establishing a colony there. Now, what are the best rules around the colony? Do we have a houses of parliament? Do we have a queen on Mars? Do we have a Senate and House of Parliament? How will it work? So what are the best structures? What kind of money? How do we exchange value on Mars? These are all questions now. They are relevant. They're not just science fiction. So this is how I'm saying. I think it's just now at the beginning of discussing these things. We now have proven the case. Like it is possible to do it. So do we want to do it or not? That's the next question. So and something that needs to be. I personally think that it's not something that can start at government level. This is kind of the people they're voting with their feet. So they're using these things because what they have available is not fit for purpose. So they find another solution, like they did in Kenya when they started, exchanging goods, paying for them in mobile minutes. No, that was never thought of being used in that way, but they did because they didn't want to use. They used their own currency because it was worthless to them. So these are the kind of things. Okay, for me, these are changes that are happening from the grassroots up, and the politicians would be better. Better if they take notice because there are changes that are happening with or without them. Okay, other questions? Okay, we've got a couple of minutes left, so 1 or 2 questions left. Anybody would like to have a go?
Luca, yes, I have a question. Yeah, just going back to sort of what you were saying in the beginning about the markets the increase this week. Yeah. So I actually bought some Cardano at the beginning of the week before it went up. And I've just been watching it and seen this massive 30% jump. And I'm thinking, oh my God, I should have bought more. And just sort of going back to what you were saying, not to look at the prices, but to actually look at the project. So for example, I know you've been talking about Cardano a lot, and so I do want to invest some more. But having bought it at 61p and it's now jumped up to, what is it, 87, it's what do I do? Do I wait? Is it going to come back down, or is it a project that I'm interested in, and should I just continue to invest? So that's just kind of where I am, and I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean, one thing I can say is that, and this is not regarding Cardano or any other cryptocurrency, but is regarding investment. So when you invest, the first thing you should do before you buy anything, you should decide when you're going to sell it. Okay, so because otherwise it's just you get flapping in the wind, kind of, you'd never know what to do. But if you decide, and that depends on, for each investment, kind of there is a kind of a little mini report that you can do yourself and think, why am I buying this thing? Am I buying it for the long term? Am I buying it for the short term because I want to increase my gains? And if that is the case, then you can pretty much automate it. If you want to make 50% gain, the moment that you buy, you can put a sell order in place with a limit order, selling at the price that you want. If you instead, if for you it's a foundational asset, like you buy a property, you don't buy a property expecting to sell it in 6 months. You buy a property maybe because you expect to keep it for 20 years, and you want to make money maybe out of the rental and a slow capital gain. So you make that decision the moment you buy an asset, and then you keep to your plan. And that's the best way I can recommend. I can't tell you, buy now or sell now, because that depends on the circumstances, and I'm not a financial advisor. But what I can tell you is that, just think of why you bought it in the first place, and then act accordingly. Why I've been talking about Cardano for a long time, because I believe is probably one of the projects that will dominate this space for the next 10 years or so. Because and the reason why I discuss it with you all the time is not so much that I am massively into Cardano. Obviously, I'm very interested, but because of what they have done, not because of I am emotionally involved with Cardano. Simply because there's one of the projects that is future ready. So all the innovations that they are going to come in the future, they're already coded in. They just need to flip a switch, basically, once they've made sure that everything works. And they've just announced that this, the next things, now the innovations are happening at faster pace than any other blockchain. And the one that's coming this year, which is going to be, again, a very big improvement for Cardano, is going what they call the Hydra, which is the scaling solution. So it's moving it from the thousands of transactions per second to the millions. Okay, and that is then having the network. So within 2022, the network will be ready to deal with mass adoption of blockchain technology. Okay, and not many projects are at this stage. Okay, it's just one of the innovation, just one of them. Okay, but security is the other huge aspect of Cardano, and that comes from the programming language. So it's not, again, it's not something that you can switch on and off at will. The problem with Ethereum that there has been for many years is because the programming language sucks. And you ask anybody that knows anything about programming, and they will tell you the same thing. But it was the only thing that you could use to have smart contracts up to very recently was Ethereum and the Solidity programming language. So everybody used that because it was the only thing available. Now that there are alternatives, then people are considering alternatives because they allow them to do things that they couldn't do before. So these are the kind of things that you need to be aware of, looking, 2 years, 3 years down the line. Okay, not so much, 2 months down the line, because that's driven by hype and news and etc. etc. But long term, the reality hits at some stage, and then people become aware of fundamental reasons why they want to get involved in certain things. And then when you're thinking about mass adoption, you're thinking about institutions look at things differently than you and me do. So for example, if you are a bank thinking of becoming be on the blockchain, would you be on a ecosystem that has lost about 10% of its customers, let's call it, of its users' funds to scams? And that's a big question. So this is what happened in Ethereum last year. Okay, with DeFi, about 10% of funds were stolen. As simple as that. So you might decide, okay, I want to take the risk because the rewards are great and I'll do it anyway, even if there's a risk of losing all my funds, and that's fine. But an institution will not do that because their main, like a pension fund, their main thing is keeping the investors' funds safe. So they won't go anywhere near it. So they need a safer protocol before they even think of accessing this particular market. That's why many funds are looking at Bitcoin, because it has, 1, the security, and 2, the liquidity. Because again, if you want to move billions in and out of an asset class, you need liquidity there to do that. So at the moment, Bitcoin is probably the only thing that it has got the really huge liquidity so that everybody can get involved. Other smaller projects, smaller in terms of market cap, like Ethereum, like Cardano, like Solana, are attracting interest more from hedge funds than big institutional investors, because of that issue. At the moment, the liquidity is not there quite yet. But things may change in a few months' time. Cornelia, where was the 10% lost? Many different projects. If you go and look at the news, many DeFi projects were hacked, and there were many issues, especially with flash loans. So that was problems with the programming of some of these apps. It's not that they were kind of like projects that were put together to steal people's money. But often it's because their programming was not good enough, or simply because the programming language leaves some gray areas. They are then easy for hackers that know what they're doing to exploit. And some of these things are just not possible, for example, to do in Cardano. I mean, you can still get apps that are written badly, and I'm sure that as the ecosystem develops, there will be hacks on Cardano as well. But it is a lot more difficult with that programming language to do that for a hacker. Okay. Team, do I use a VPN? Yes, I do sometimes, and sometimes I don't, because sometimes it makes my computer excessively slow. So I do tend to use it when I want to keep my IP secret. I use a VPN. Or if I want to watch some television that is free on air, maybe in Australia, but not in the UK, then I use a VPN, so it looks like I'm in Australia. That's the way you do it. But yeah, sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. It depends on how much it slows my computer. But you should do, if you can, If that's not an issue for you, then you should always try to use a VPN. Okay, guys. Okay, it's 9:05, so we'll close the room in a second. I'll take, if there is a question, I can take one last question before I close. If there's anything that's interesting to you, Ingrid, did you want to ask anything? I can see. No. I thought that you were. Sorry, I thought you raised your hand. Okay. Okay, guys. So I'll close the room. Close the room here. Duncan, I'll have a look at the link. I'll have a look at the link again from last week. I think I might have used a different link from usual. That's why we didn't have as many people today on the call. But I'll make sure we go back to the old link next week. So, but anyway, if for some reason you can't get on, we post the link on GeniusU. So make sure that you check on there if there is any problem with the connection. I'm always here on a Friday morning, so you can rely on that. Okay. So oh, by the way, if anybody is interested in the yield farming workshop I talked about last week, is going on this evening. So let me just see if I can get the link for you. Just give me a second. Oh yeah, there it is. Okay, I just posted in the chat for those of you that are interested. It's going to be a really good event. There's a promo code as well that if you are interested. Okay, and if you are there, I will be talking about MetaMask there tonight. But it is, by the way, for those of you that are interested, this is not a beginners event. Okay, it's for people that already have been using cryptos. They're comfortable already using non-custodial wallets like MetaMask. So you're welcome to come along, but say it is not a beginner event. So I just want to make it very, very clear. And if you want to do yield farming, its time would be required for you to do this every day. So it's not something that you can just set and forget, but you'll need to log in and check these every day and do things on your on your with your wallet every single day. Okay, so I'll see you there if you're coming. Otherwise, I will see you next week at the same place, same time. So goodbye from now. This room is going to end in